Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. Wishing everybody a really happy new year. I hope you all had a really lovely time over the holidays and that you celebrated nicely yesterday for the new year, and I wish you all really good things to come for 2020. So I thought I would start my year this year it was actually an idea from one of my lovely subbies who suggested that I actually did a kind of recap over what we'd done last year, favourite projects of 2019. So that's what I'm proposing to do, probably like a week's worth or something of videos, just revisiting things that were my favourite projects, or, possibly that I have interpreted to be maybe your favourite projects. Just going by feedback and things like that. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to get cracking, first of all, revisiting the project of making a kit from a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I'm just going to move this stuff all out of the way. So I've got here this gorgeous sheet of paper here. You can probably see it's this greeny colour with gold polka dots. I mean, I absolutely love green, so for me this is really nice. Now this paper seems a little bit thinner than what is quite often in a 12 by 12 paper pack, but that's fine, we can still go with it, so that's fine. And just quickly a sort of add-on, I suppose, note: when I did the initial videos, which was way back in the summer, lots of people commented that yes, you're absolutely right. More often than not, you get maybe 2 sheets of one design, so you could actually make a much bigger kit to complete an entire journal. However, I am using this because this is the remaining sheet. I've already used the other sheet of this, yonks ago, kind of in a scrapbook layout. So I'm going to just actually use one sheet, but yes, you're absolutely right. You could obviously make a bigger kit by utilising the 2 sheets from the 12 by 12 paper. So that's a kind of addendum, I suppose, or a kind of note to make a note of, really. Okay, so I'm not going to follow what we did necessarily on the original video. I'm just going to wing it, and we'll just see what we can create really from this 12 by 12 sheet. So I quite like, when I'm doing things like this, to just randomly cut pieces, and then I can work around them and work with them from what I've actually cut off. So I will cut down what I would propose to be some sort of like folded piece. So I'm just going to cut that down from this strip here. And what I'm going to do is actually sort of, so I can work out roughly where we want that to be. So I'm going to cut it about here, like that. Okay, I'll just trim that down there. Obviously, I might not have done this very straight or anything, so I can always trim that up in a minute. So that's going to be some sort of folded piece. I haven't decided yet what it's going to be, but I've got that there for a folded piece. Now we've got this little strip now here, which we could obviously cut this down. So I'm just going to do it from this side, because that's just then easier to get to. So we've got this piece, and already I can see that's horribly not straight, so I'm just going to straighten that up a little bit, like that. So that's, a small piece there. And then I think what I might do is do a tallish piece here from that piece. So we just trim that down. And again, just play around and cut the pieces however you fancy. But, I quite like just having a random selection of pieces, really. And then I normally quite like to do, when I'm doing them from a book page, not a book page, a 12 by 12 sheet, I normally quite like to have like a corner piece as well. And actually, if I cut this down here, well, actually, what I will do, I will tear my corner piece first, I think. So if I just tear that across, that's then a really great piece for a corner tuck spot. And then, as you can see, if I just cut that there, I've got another one. So I'm going to tear this down again so I don't have the core of the paper there showing. So I'm just going to tear that across again. You know, and you can leave that showing if you like. I just felt it looked odd compared to the other pieces. Another thing that you can actually do is if you wanted to make a double tuck spot, is you could actually just cut it here. So we could actually do that. So let me just have a look. Right, well, let's do that. So I'm going to just cut here, and I will just trim that off here. And then what you could do, you see, is layer that up so you've got a double tuck. Now obviously this looks way too wide for an A4 piece of paper, or you know, your legal size piece of paper. So you could have it going down the page like that, or obviously we can tear that slightly smaller. So we'll have a look in a moment. And then I've got this piece here which I can just now trim down to make one more piece or two more pieces. So I'm just going to trim that there and here. And then this piece has got this little corner missing, but I'm not going to worry about that because we can always try and cover that up with something in a moment. Now let me just check that I'm in frame and filming, because I'd hate to be sat here waffling on and not actually filming at all, which, you know, does happen from time to time. Okay, so if we start with, say, one of these smaller pieces, because obviously we've got a few of those to do, I'm going to take this. Now, I have brought along a variety of little bits and bobs that I thought would be quite nice for this project. So I've got some of my tickets, which I thought would complement the colours quite nicely. And I've got these beautiful images just from my encyclopedia page. So I can just decide which way up I want this. So obviously these pictures suit this quite nicely that way up. But of course you could have them that way if you wanted. So I'm going to tear these down, I think. But hopefully not too jaggedy, if that makes sense. So I'll just tear that down a bit, like that. Oops, that corner seems quite high up, so I'll just tear that across there. There we go. I mean, I love how that looks on that green. It just, to me, looks really beautiful on that background colour. Obviously, I do realise that's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I think that's lovely. Now, what I might do, these are just printed onto regular copy paper, actually. So, but what I might do is just trim. For some reason, a pink one is kind of calling me. So I'll just trim that down like that. But I thought we could just maybe have tucking out there. Looks really pretty, doesn't it? You know, I don't even feel like it needs anything much else, but it just looks lovely like that. I will add some doily because for some reason I'm literally hooked on doily at the moment. It's like my favourite thing to use for some reason at the moment. I love how that looks. Right, now I'm going to punch a hole in my ticket. I don't know whether that hole is going to actually be showing or whether it will be actually underneath the, you know, the picture from the encyclopedia, but I'll just punch it just in case. And obviously I'm going to ink it all up. So I've got my walnut stained distress ink, which I will use. So I'm just going to stick my doily piece down first. Oops. And again, I'm just going to use my 3-in-1 because of that tacky glue, you know, making that kind of, you know, mess basically of the doily. So just pop that down there. dokie. So I'm just going to pop that on there like that. I've got some of my dried wet wipes, so I take one of those. And then these pieces here. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is just ink up the ticket slightly before I stick that on there. Particularly where I obviously misjudged the hole a bit. There we go. So we can just pop that on like that. Okay. Yes, I'm so sorry. I actually can't remember who it was who suggested doing the, you know, revisit of favourite projects. And it's annoying because I had screenshotted your comment so that I didn't forget who it was. But for some reason, it's now still buried in my screenshots and I went through them and still couldn't see it. So, I mean, my photo situation and video situation on my iPad is, I have to say, much like my desk, is a bit of a disorganised state of chaos. So, yeah, I really do apologise that I can't actually give credit to who it was who suggested it. But thank you so much for your idea. I really love that idea of revisiting, you know, what were favourite projects of 2019. So, and I hope that you guys will find this fun. I mean, it's also quite a good idea because not only will, hopefully, the pieces look different because, you know, even though they're revisiting the projects, they're using different papers and what have you. But also, you know, there might be projects that people haven't seen because obviously I upload a ton of videos. So I realise that not everybody can watch every single video. So it may just happen to be a project that, you know, you've missed. So, or, it, you know, it might be just people haven't ever come across my channel or anything and might be seeing them for the first time anyway. So I do really appreciate, you know, I always appreciate suggestions of video ideas and things like that because obviously it is quite hard coming up with ideas all the time. So yeah, I really love that idea. Thank you so much. And obviously I can't resist putting a bit of lace on, so I'm just going to trim that down here. Now what I will do, I love to ruffle my edges, so I'm just going to ruffle that around there. Now, as I say, this doesn't feel like, to me, the thickest of scrapbook paper, you know, from a 12 by 12 pad. Sometimes they're thicker than others. This doesn't feel like the thickest. So, I mean, if you find that, you can always back it onto maybe some book page or something like that, just to give it a bit more rigidity if you feel it needs that. So, it just really depends, you know. I mean, obviously, sometimes they're really barely more than copy paper weight. This doesn't feel that thin. But if you are concerned and you feel it needs a little bit more, then, of course, do reinforce it. So I've got that like that, and then I'm going to cut my, you know, what I always describe as like the header piece from the lace. I'm going to cut that off. Just makes it look a little bit more delicate, I think. So I'm going to pop that down on there. So just take my 3-in-1. Come on. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to pop that on there like that. And I will just blot that with the dry wet wipe. And I did bring along some bling, so I know that I've got some beside me. Oh, she says, I literally picked it up before I switched the camera on. Now, what have I done with that? I picked it up thinking, oh, mustn't forget my bling, because it was, you know, the one with the gold. Here it is. Right. Because I just thought this one would look really good with these green papers. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Which actually I don't normally use such a long piece, but weirdly I might have to use that really long piece there. For some reason that just looked like it needed a long a long piece. So I'm just going to glue this down. So I'm just going to glue it from here like that. Okay, and now, because it was just a bit too long for me to actually be able to glue it in one hit, so I'll just glue it now like that. Okay, right, there we go. Oh my gosh, what's going on? I love how that looks. Really, really, really pretty. Yeah, really, really, really like that. I mean, it helps because I love green, but it just looks lovely. So that's that one. Okay, let's do another one. So we'll do this one, I think, which obviously has this corner missing. Now, I don't mind the fact that that corner's missing. I think it's, you know, it looks fine. So what we could do is obviously use this image here of this lady. I don't know whether she's a lady or a little girl, actually. She's probably more like a little girl, but just one of those tricky to age. So I'll just tear her round like that. Okay. Yeah, I love this sepia colour against this green paper. It just looks really striking, I think. I just happen to have this little scrap piece. It's left over from my Flights of Fancy, so I might have to use that because actually that looks quite good there. Let's just get some lace and see how that might look. Perhaps I need to tear this down. Just tear that down because it had a straight edge, you know, where it was just from the where it had been printed. So just tear that down a bit. Maybe more like that. So just tear it down here. Okay, well, that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And then I might just add, I've got some book page. That wasn't the best book page. Let me just get some fresh, because it wasn't really the right kind of shape. So let's just tear this one down. I'm just wondering whether I could have this kind of poking out just behind her here. So I'll just pop that there. Oh, that's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I like how that looks. So I will just glue this down. Yeah, so I hope that everybody had a lovely New Year. Yesterday, New Year's Eve, it was my eldest son's birthday. So he's kind of developed a bit of a tradition. I might have said this before. I think this is the third time we've done it. Where for his birthday, we do an escape room. So yeah, this was the third time that we've done one for his birthday. Oh, they are such fun. I don't know whether any of you guys have done an escape room, but I think it was the fourth one that we've done all together, but the third one for his birthday. And they're just brilliant because they really get you thinking outside the box, and just completely different to anything else that you've kind of ever done really before. So this one and the one that we did last year were more solving a puzzle. They weren't really about escaping from the room. They were solving a puzzle. So yesterday's was, it was, you know, the room was set in the era of mods and rockers, and it was solving a murder. So, I mean, nothing scary. I mean, obviously, you know, our 5-year-old was with us, and you know, she was also able to join in. It was all just really good, clean fun. There wasn't anything horrible or scary. And there was a scooter in the room and things like that. Again, obviously, I mean, it didn't start or anything like that, so it wasn't dangerous or anything. But, oh, just such brilliant fun. And, yeah, the first escape room we did not manage to escape, which was a bit of a shame. But I think they're the type of thing that you need to do a few times to sort of improve your methods, because you kind of go into the room, and when you go into the room is, you know, you're just faced with a completely blank room that's like, well, it's not blank, it's got props and things like that in there, but, you know, you're just faced, I mean, like yesterday's room, it just had like a scooter in the middle of the room, it had like an old-fashioned telephone, what else did it have? Oh, it had a pinball machine, just random things kind of placed around the room. And you kind of walk in just thinking, oh my gosh, where do I start? And obviously you're looking for clues. In yesterday's case, we were looking for clues. I'm just reaching up to get my little words that we did during our, you know, DIY embellishments. So, yeah, you're looking for clues. Yesterday's clues, obviously trying to solve where this person had been for the last, like, several hours of his life before he was murdered. So it was just such brilliant fun, but it really gets you kind of thinking in, you know, because obviously it's so completely different to anything else that you kind of do. It really gets you thinking outside of the normal way of thinking, I suppose. So, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And you're in there for an hour. So, yeah, yesterday's we had to obviously find, you know, where this chap spent the last few hours of his life. So you had to then mark the map with all the different places that he was for each hour for about a 12-hour period, by solving all the clues. And then you then want, you know, if you've got through that part, then you are then trying to prove who actually committed the murder. So it's like a second part of the puzzle. And yeah, I'm really thrilled to say that we did actually manage to do it. So it was really fun and really exciting. And we found this last year as well in particular. Well, actually, we found it every time, actually, is when you leave that room, you feel so buzzing on such a high, because it's so completely different to anything that you've ever done before. And it just, yeah, kind of, oh, it's just really fun. I mean, it's really fun to do as a family, because obviously you're really working together and pulling together to solve the clues. It's really intense because you're on this timer, you know, you've got a lot of clues to solve, or, you know, things to find or padlocks to open or whatever in that time frame. And oh, it's just really fun and just so very different to anything else that, you know, you might kind of generally do in day-to-day life. So every time that we come out literally on this massive high, going, oh, that was so fun, oh my gosh, wasn't this bit brilliant, oh, wasn't that bit brilliant? And we've always said the same thing, is that you walk in the room and you think, oh, this is going to be really rubbish, because, you know, because you're just faced with this weird arrangement of stuff and you just don't know where to start. So you think, oh, this one's not really going to be very good. But so far, every time we've done one, they have been really good. Yeah, so if you haven't ever done one, I would so recommend doing one. If you just fancy doing something completely different, they are very, very, very good fun. And just, yeah, I think they get in touch with your playful side, and yeah, they're just really good fun. So yeah, would recommend those. So that was what we did yesterday for my son's birthday. And then we just had like a family meal. I just cooked a curry, and we had that for dinner. So yeah, we had a really nice time. I mean, I'm a bit of a lightweight, so I never see the new year in because I just can't stay up that late. So I'm just pathetic. So we did not, well, I didn't stay up and see the new year in. My sons did, my husband didn't. But yeah, we had a good day, and my son obviously had a nice birthday, so that was the main thing. That was all good. Okie dokie. Just inking up this little flower that I just happened to spot just on my desk, and I just wondered whether it might just look nice on here, but oops. Now I've got something stuck on it. Maybe or maybe not. What do you think? Let's just bring in that bling, because again, oh, just wouldn't be one of mine, would it, without bling? I'm going to put some on the butterfly. Oops. Come on. Oh my gosh, look at what I'm doing here. It's just like sticking on me rather than on the butterfly. And then I think we'll have a little bit down here, you know, not a long strip like the other one, but just a smaller piece, I think. Now, do we want the flower, yes or no? What do you think? Could have the flower up there, actually. That's pretty. Okay, I'm going to stick all these bits down. So, got the butterfly, like that. And yeah, so my son was 17, and you know, obviously big year, he can learn to drive now, so very exciting. Exciting and nerve-wracking as a mum. You kind of think, oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, it will be very handy, you know, every time that I'm cooking and things and realise I haven't got something, I'll be able to ask him to nip to the shop and stuff like that. So, you know, I've already joked how I can't wait to be able to just send him down the road to pick up things that I need. But of course, you know, as a mum, you do feel slightly nervous, don't you? That there's such a lot of awful drivers. Well, and when people are young, they often get carried away and think that they're better drivers than they are. So, yeah. So for his birthday, he didn't really kind of get a present as such. I gave him an IOU in his card, just saying that, you know, we will pay for either his car or his car insurance, whichever is the cheapest. Because, I mean, car insurance is very, very expensive. So the car and the car insurance seem to be about the same price. So, yeah, I just wrote a note, you know, telling him how proud we are of him, and we love him, and, you know, happy birthday. And here's an IOU for either a car or car insurance, whichever is the cheapest. Right, so we've done these two pieces so far. I love how they look. They just, oh, really gorgeous, gorgeous colour, kind of right up my street. So we'll pop those out of the way for a couple of minutes and we'll pull in the next one. So the next one is this, what's the word? Corner piece, which I just thought is really nice because you've got then a double piece like that. Now, as I say, what we could do is either use this as a long piece. So I'm just going to pull in, she says, oh, I might not be able to. I was going to say something that would mimic a journal page to give you an idea, but I can't actually see anything. So hold on. All right, here we go. So if this were a journal page, you see this would be too long to go this way. So I can either tear this down to make it shorter, or we can obviously have it as a corner tuck up that way on the page, which, I mean, that's quite nice, to be honest. So again, I'm just going to have a look around and see what I've got here on my desk that I can just pop on here. Obviously, I have used those pieces now from the encyclopedia, so I no longer have any of that left. I have got some pieces here from my Blue Baroque kit, and I've got this photo, which obviously, well, not photo, picture, which is obviously in similar colourings. I've also got this chair, which I think would look quite nice, to be honest. Let me see whether I've got some other bits. Hold on. Just having a rummage. Well, let's just tear this picture down in the first instance and see how that would look. So that's not too bad, is it? If we have that on there. Now, obviously you can't, you know, or I'm not going to particularly decorate this piece because obviously there's not a great deal showing there. So it's all going to be popped onto this piece here. So I'm just going to tear this down slightly more. Just so it's a little bit smaller there to fit on. Again, I could just pull in one of those tickets and have that maybe poking out behind. So just going to tear that down, I think. So I have got lots and lots of exciting things planned for my channel for 2020. Well, the beginning of 2020 anyway. Yeah, lots and lots of exciting things coming up. So I hope you're all going to join me on the journey. As I say, we're going to start by doing this kind of revisit of favourite projects from 2019. And then I have several other things planned that will keep us going for several weeks, hopefully, which hopefully you are going to enjoy and find really fun and exciting and, yeah, hopefully a bit different. I have got some very exciting news with Crafty Individuals. I've mentioned their stamps a lot and I absolutely love their stamps. So I have been very lucky. I've managed to do a bit of a sort of collaboration with them and have got a discount for you guys. And I also have a lot of beautiful, or you know, several beautiful stamps that I would like to share with you guys. So that's going to be coming up on my channel in the next few weeks. So just to give you a sort of heads up basically of you know, some exciting things that I think are exciting. Hopefully you guys will think are exciting. That will be coming up over the next few weeks. And yeah, hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun together. And yeah, hopefully, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a discount for you guys for some Crafty Individuals stamps. So all details will be released. I've got a video that I had done a little while back, so that will be coming up as the first sort of in the first instance, and then we will go from there. I actually quite like that without the picture, you know, so I'm just going to, I think, pop that on. Excuse me, I've still got my horrible cold, I'm afraid. So turned out it was a bit more like flu really, but anyway, yes. So I've got a lovely you know, series of videos coming up with some Crafty Individual stamps, which, you know, I really do love them. They're not kind of something that I've just plucked out of thin air. I really do love their stamps. So, and I have a discount code for you guys, so that's going to also be coming up. Yeah, I have lots of exciting things, so hopefully we're going to have a really good time in 2020. So I have a bit of an idea for my Saturday 3 in 30 challenge, which is obviously now coming to an end. So I've got some ideas for things that are going to take over from that. So yeah, it's going to be good fun, and I really, you know, really hope that you guys are going to join me on our adventures, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Right, I'm just going to cut that down like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop this on here. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is pop this on to the other piece. And then what you've got is obviously a double pocket, which, how fun is that? And, you know, fun and simple. There we go. Like that. And then what I'll do is, just for sort of continuity a bit, I'm going to just ruffle my edges. Like that. Rough them. Rough the edges up a little bit. And a bit here. Okay. And again, I'm just going to ink around the edge there. Like that. Okay. Right, okay. Take my lace that I just trimmed down, and I'm just going to pop some lace there across the top. And then what I'll do is trim the lace after I've stuck it on here. So just going to pop the lace down here like that. Okay. Oops. Don't know what that was, but a little scrap of, oh gosh, look, doily stuck on me. I just trim this down here. Okay, and just trim it at the edge. Okie dokie, so that's that piece. And then of course it wouldn't be one of mine if it didn't have a bit of bling, so I'm just going to pop some bling on. I have that piece there. I might just leave that as that long piece, so I'll just pop that down. Like that. Oops. Okie dokie, so that's that now popped on there. So, whoops, now I have a flower petal stuck on me. Right, so that's that piece there. So we've made 3 pieces so far from our 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Looking really, really, really pretty. I think they are. Hopefully you agree. What I'm going to do now is, because obviously everybody's at home, it's New Year's Day, I'm going to go and have some breakfast, and I'm going to do a part 2 to this video after breakfast and things, and then hopefully I will upload part 1 and part 2 both today, and then obviously, you know, we can continue with the different project for every day, except for obviously the Saturday and the Tuesday, when we will obviously have the usual math making workshop and the 3 and 30 alphabet challenge. So yeah, I hope that you liked these, and hope you'll join me for part 2. Thanks then, bye.